Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. We're going to start a new video series about questions I get in my inbox because I see a lot of the same questions all the time, and I thought if I'd start listing a few of them up here and walking through them on video, it'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier for me, I'll tell you, rather than answering the same question 100 times. So let's work on the first question we get a lot of times. What type of material for X, Y, or Z usage? It's impossible to tell. There's general guidelines that you can use, but this is the problem in the literature today. There's too many general guidelines, sacrificing too much sound quality, and this has got to stop. We have to select the material for the usage, and we have to define what kind of material that we're going to use by the usage. Vocal booth is all about noise issues, right? We got to have it quiet. So the barrier or the shell technology has to be related to the amount of noise that's outside the room in order to get the inside of the room correct. So what type of material do I need in my vocal booth? Unknown. You got to tell me more. You have to tell me about your noise. We have to measure your noise. We have to know what frequency the noise is at and what its strength or amplitude is, in order to design the proper barrier to keep it out, because we don't want it in our recording. So what type of material that you use in a vocal booth? It's too dependent on too many variables. So one material may work for one situation, one material may not work for another. Inside the room, in a vocal room, treatment is usually absorption. It's usually foam. Well, diffusion is a really good quality treatment to use in voice also, and we're going to do a series of videos on that. Diffusion is an amazing technology, but really misunderstood, okay, and not widely used because it's so misunderstood. But if you start using it, you start moving the microphone around, you start making recordings, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I missed so much in my recordings by not using diffusion, especially for voice. And we're going to do a series of videos. It's microphone distance dependent from the diffuser. It's frequency response dependent from the diffuser. There's a lot of variables, but once you get it dialed in, it's incredible. And you don't have to put a lot of electronic, as I call it, stink on the signal. So how do you soundproof with carbon? Well, the bottom line is you don't. Our carbon technology is a sound absorption technology, okay, not a soundproofing technology, which we all know from past videos that I do. There's no such thing as soundproofing. Okay, sound is not proofed. You don't stop it 100%. You manage it. You lower levels. Sound transmission class ratings are based on scales that use frequencies starting at 125 and going up. So you have to be very, very careful by using STC numbers, sound transmission class ratings, which determine noise loss of a barrier construction methodology. So there's no such thing as proofing. And you definitely don't proof or isolate sound with foam, even our carbon technology. It's a sound absorbing technology. And remember from past videos, we have sound absorption technology, we have barrier technology. Completely different sciences, some overlap, but you'll get the idea as you look at our other videos. What type of soundproofing, once again, for floor and ceiling? Well, let's get rid of the word soundproof and substitute manage. So what type of materials do I have to use to manage the noise is really what we're talking about here in the floor and ceiling. Once again, unknown. How much noise do we have to manage? How critical is it that we don't have any noise leaving the room? How critical is it, especially, in a control room, how critical is it that we don't have noise coming in? So the bottom line here is no such thing as soundproofing. It's sound management, and that's frequency and amplitude dependent. And then floor and ceiling is once again usage dependent. What are we trying to do? With barrier technology and isolating from noise, you want to measure and quantify the noise, because the measurement and quantification of the noise determines how much you're going to spend stopping it. So there's a direct correlation between the numbers and cost. You don't want to put any more material than you need. And if you guess at barrier technology, you'll always guess wrong, because you're going to think that more is better, and that's not necessarily the case. It's all dependent on frequency and amplitude. So we got to measure twice, cut once. Okay? So how do I soundproof a control room? Well, same issue here we get. Soundproofing, no such thing. And control room, we have to know a lot of other barriers. That's why I came up with that room form that we have you fill out, because that at least gets it started. That gives us size and volume and usage. And then we have the number of energy sources in the room. So if we know the size, we know the volume, and we know what you're trying to do in the room, then we can treat accordingly for the barrier or the treatment side of the room inside, all usage dependent. So I built a wall, double wall like the literature says. I used drywall and I used green glue. I used the resilient clips. But my low frequency energy just goes right through. Well, that's because a double wall with this arrangement here is really only good for frequencies above 125 cycles. Low frequency energy just goes right through it. So I have people call me all the time. Oh, I built my home theater using this. How many subwoofers do you have in the room? 4. 4 15s. How big is the room? Oh, it's average, 12, 13, 8 foot tall. So it's a closet. And he's got 4 drivers that are 15 inches in diameter. And he used the technology that's only good for frequencies above 125 hertz. So do no harm. Remember, don't put too much energy in too small of a room. So that violates our first acoustical rule that we talked about in our last series of videos. So you have to be very, very careful. And the literature is full of a lot of misinformation. You have to sort through it. Step back, take a deep breath, and realize that the energy within the room has to be managed within the room, but the energy outside of the room has to be managed. And there are 2 separate management technologies. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give me a thumbs up so I know that it had value to you. And please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Alternatively, if there are other topics that you wish to discuss or see discussed in a video presentation, send me an email, info@acousticfields.com, and we'll get them on our list and get them done for you. I release a new video about every week, so stay tuned to our YouTube channel and keep updated on our new videos.